Okay, this is the explainer video for your CPM or cost per meal invoice tracking spreadsheet. There's also notes and instructions over here that you can read through, but maybe this will help make it a little easier as well. Basically what this spreadsheet allows you to do is break down the cost by each school, so you know what each of their food costs are and you know who to target. Excuse me. Also makes it really easy to budget the next year because you can see exactly how many meals you're serving during different time periods. First thing you want to do is go into setup and enter your school names, school types, your target labor hours per day, your target cost per meal at each school, and then your vendor information. I use commodity NOI, commodity direct delivery, other transfer as well, and we'll get into that later. Then your contract equivalents to lunch. So ours in Oregon is 3 breakfast to 1, 4 snacks to 1, and 1 supper to 1. And then your first week ending date. And then you want to make sure if anything pops up that says enable macros, make sure they are enabled. And then you go ahead and click this hide blank rows in each week. And that will give you something like this. Fair warning, when you click that button, sometimes it can take 30 or 40 seconds for it to process. This is what every week entry form looks like. You want to make sure you enter the number of serving days for the week. This should automatically be right, but you can double check that. That's going to be your week ending date. And then you enter every invoice you get from different suppliers from each of your schools in these columns here. Once you've approved them in TMC, you can enter an X next to them so that you know what's been paid and what hasn't. Makes it really easy to spot a missed or an invoice that hasn't been turned in, and just helps you track all of that. I get my commodity NOI just by adding it up on a calculator from my Cisco invoices, or I'll use this for my commodity produce from DoD as well. The commodity from direct deliveries, I have a different spreadsheet for that, and that's where I get this number from. And then this is just in case you take a case of something and give it to another school if you want to keep track of that. Enter your meal counts here. This will give you your total. This will give you your equivalent meals, so it's basically breaking it down as breakfast as 3 to 1, lunch 1 to 1, and so forth. This gives you your overall cost per meal, your cost per equivalent meal or contract meal, and then your cost per meal by supplier or commodity. This is your meals per labor hour, and this is basing it on the amounts that you budgeted in the setup sheet. If you want, you can use this inventory. Just enter your month-end total here. If you don't want to use it, it doesn't have that big of an impact. It'll just change your totals up here whenever this changes. Otherwise, it'll just carry it forward for you. This is your dashboard. So you can use, or this will show you your cost per meal by vendor and your meals per labor hour. So this is going to show you each school. And so their cost per meal is just under $1, and it's broken out by vendor. And then this green line is showing what the average meals per labor hour is at each school. And so it kind of can give you a good tracker of where you need to maybe add labor or cut labor. This is going to give you your total meal counts for all of your schools. And then there's filters over here, so you can add in whatever weeks. You can do all the weeks or for only one school, and that will impact all of these charts. Basically, then you can see, so this is week 1 for only the blue school. I only have data in for week 1. And this is average lunches per day, and this is average breakfast per day for that school. This is going to give you your average year-to-date cost per meal just overall. And that is the basics. I hope that helps.